Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Today we are going to talk about a very, very important topic. As you can see, for those of you who came on to the website, you know that the topic today is going to be centrists. And we're going to we're going to talk about the three major centrists today that are sort of muddling the waters, but what I want to show is exactly why it is dangerous. I want to show exactly why it is that we as standard, regular, average American citizens need to go out there and do something about it. So we are going to get started in a little bit, but before I get started, I want to talk about something that has actually very much warmed my heart. Those of you who know what I stand for, I am a true progressive. I am a person who believes in progressive values, but at the same time, I'm someone who wants to entertain conversations with everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean we want to have conversations with everybody. We want people to be open to change their minds, just as I am, as difficult as it may be to some. I'm open to change my mind. But anyhow, today, what happened I found touching. I wrote a piece on Joe Biden and how he handled a group of Latinos in, I think it was South Carolina. And when I wrote that, Democrats came to attack me because I hit the vice president for something terrible that he did in that room. But this is personal now, what made my day was to watch some of my viewers of Politics Done Right, even as conservative viewers, that is, conservative viewers that don't see eye to eye with me, conservative viewers that come on my show and disagree with me. And when this attack came from a left-winger, an attack came from a Democrat to put me down and called me a Russian whatever, these guys came out and said, we don't agree with Egberto. But we know he stands by his values. We know what he stands for, and he is definitely not as described. So to my conservative brothers and sisters, this is the kind of camaraderie I want in our country. This is the kind of thing I want in our country, where we don't have to sit down and agree on everything. We don't even have to believe the same things. We just have to acknowledge each other's humanity. And when anyone tries to defy it on any side from any direction, we come to each other's defense, and then we can go back and fight about policy. We can go back and fight about ideology. We can go ahead and try to merge them however we can, etc., etc., etc. So to my conservative brothers and sisters, thank you so kindly for your defense, not only on Facebook, but elsewhere. So thank you, even on YouTube. Now, what are we going to talk about today? The first video I'm going to show has to do with Joe Biden. And the reason I want to do this is because the media, the plutocracy, the establishment, they're trying to push Biden as the most electable. They're trying to push Biden as la persona que nos va a sacar del desierto, the person that's going to lead us out of the desert. They want to make it so, in as much as Biden continuously proves that he's not up for the job, but most importantly, no centrist is up for the task that we have to get to solve this country's ills. Centrists do not have the problem because absent the right wing, centrists are the problem. But I want to show you something about immigration, and then after I show it on this side, we'll talk about it on the other side, and I have some other videos to do it. But before I go into that also, I want to take a little bit of personal time here and said, my good friend from Panama, Roberto Lewis, he called me up yesterday and he said, Egberto, we are having a Thanksgiving dinner at TX Dot. He works for the state. And he said, come on and spend some time with your Panamanian brother out here. Let's break some Thanksgiving together. So I went out and that's why I'm kind of late with some of the things. I went out there and had some fun with him, ate some dinner with all his co-workers. And I just wanted to share that with you, my brother from Panama. We went out there, had some Thanksgiving dinner at his company, had a little bit of fun, and then I jumped back in the car and drove the 30-something miles back to the studio so that I could come directly to you. I just had a lot of fun. I wanted to give my brother some a little bit of time here on the screen. So Roberto, thank you for the invite. The food that you cooked, my brother, was great. He cooked what did you cook, Roberto? Some brisket and I think some of the turkey. These guys had a ton of food. I should have taken a picture of the food to make you guys hungry. Anyhow, we are going to get into the program now. Sorry about that. I just needed to take a little bit of personal time, a little bit of time to say, let's get away a little bit from politics. But here's a story that I did this morning on Biden before I went out there. A presidential candidate cannot just be bullying with answers. They have to show that they're genuinely listening to what people are saying and tailor their responses in a manner that talks to that inner person's beings. For all those people that hate Donald Trump, there's a group of people in this country where he is able to reach because he is touching on that thing that those people believe so much affect them. What you're going to see, the way Biden answers a question here, proves why he is completely incompatible with the presidency.
My name is Sylvia, and every day I live under the fear that ICE is going to separate my family.
Usted ha defendido a 3 millones de deportaciones que ocurrieron cuando Obama era presidente.
I have heard that you have defended Obama's record of 3 million deportations that happened over the 8 years that he was in office.
Por eso es difícil confiar en usted. Yo quiero saber si usted es elegido presidente, podría poner fin a las deportaciones el día de su primer día de mandato.
Because of the deportations were so high under the Obama administration, it is hard for me as an immigrant to trust you. And I want to know, if you were to be president, will you stop deportations on day one through executive action?
No. I will not stop all deportations. I'll prioritize deportations, only people who committed a felony or a serious crime. You should go for Trump. You should go for Trump.
I'm not going to do that. But I want to make sure that immigrant families and people like Sylvia are not fair. And you have the power as a candidate to actually commit to stop all deportation from day one to executive action. And we want to hear you say that.
I will not stop all deportations if you commit a crime that's a felony.
Not one more.
Biden should have said, I will make sure that deportations are not done in an inhumane manner. What I will make sure is, now if there is somebody who is committing a felony and is a clear present danger for all of us, every person living in America, that person, he can be deported. We will deport that person. However, we are not going to separate families. However, we're going to do our best to get a new policy in America that takes into consideration we are a land of immigrants. There were so many ways for the vice president to talk about this issue, but he didn't want to talk about the issue this way. Biden has a hell of a lot of support among black people because they believe that President Obama chose Biden because he's a good man and because he cares about people and he cares about people of color. What they fail to realize is what Biden did there and the tonality he took there was specifically to reach the people that he wants to reach in this part of the Democratic Party, the people that they covet the most, the white working class people. That is what Biden is trying to touch on. So by showing he can be harsh to a Latino community in a place where there are a lot of Latinos listening to him, to all the other people, it's like, yeah, he's one of us. Remember why Joe Biden was chosen by Obama. Not because he was a stellar person who cared about people's rights because he has a history. It was because Obama knew that he was his backstop to win votes that he otherwise would not have gotten. And that's the mistake many black people in South Carolina are making. That's a mistake many Latinos around the country are making. They need to understand the dynamics of politics. And Biden is not a person for the future. We have progressives running who really care about all people. Okay, I hope you got that. I mean, when Biden did so many things that are wrong there. First, let me give an errata, okay? Not an errata, but a statement. Biden should not come out and say, oh, I'm going to stop all deportations. No president can say that. And nobody really expects a president to say that. But what that woman was saying from her heart is when she says, I want you to stop all deportations, she does not mean I want you to stop deporting folks who are killing and maiming people. She meant, I want you to stop deporting heads of households, people in families. Stop splitting families up with this deportation thing. After all, the reason why all these undocumented workers are in America is that your plutocracy needed these workers, and if these workers were not employed by your plutocracy, they wouldn't be here. So when we just blame undocumented workers as being the bad folks, we have to remember supply and demand. There was a demand for their sort of labor here, and our people, our business people here, decided that they wanted to hire these people. And therefore, if we really wanted to curtail a problem of this sort, we wouldn't start from destroying families that are working, paying taxes or whatever, just undocumented. We would actually work on the employers who are giving these people employment. A lot of people kind of tend to believe that these people come out here to take our social services. You cannot take someone's social services without a social security card, driver's license, and all these things. And this is not easy to come by. Yes, there's some fraud involved there, but in the majority of these people, they're just in a hidden economy that our plutocracy hires. The meat markets, the poultry places, the hog farms, all these people hire these people because they cannot find Americans who are strong enough or want to do the job. So trying to be tough, to show that you can be tough with undocumented workers is not the way to do, because half of those undocumented workers have documented family who vote. They have families who are part of the American citizenry, because remember, in a lot of times, they didn't cross the border crossed them. Okay, so let's start. That is what made us progressives. We never bought into the punitive nature of those people who just wanted to throw the immigrants out, because we understood the first sin in this country was immigrants coming to conquer. And they did conquer and exterminated everybody, or exterminated the masses here. The immigrants that are coming now, they're not coming to conquer. They just want a job. And you know what? The jobs are here to provide to them. And you know what? We need them. You know what? Our aging population need an influx of immigrants. Even a friend of mine, a Starbucks friend of mine, who is a right-wing Trump voting conservative, after we've had long conversations, the last conversation we had was, Egberto, I did a lot of reading, and you know what? We do need immigrants. And you know what? Could I write a blog for your blog so that, or no, I'm sorry. He didn't ask it right. I said, after he explained all of that to me, I asked him if he would write the blog. I think that's, I don't remember if I asked him or he told me. I don't remember, one or the other. But he wrote a blog, Immigration, the right-wing way, I guess. And the thing for me was not that I didn't agree completely with what he thought immigration should look like. The thing for me was like, we found common ground, and this guy now wants immigration. So if we start talking, if we start looking at things as they should, we will be surprised where we will get. But anyhow, but next thing with Biden, when the woman says, will you stop deporting people? No. And he's rough in the way he says it. And then the guy continues with him and he said, what we're trying to say, Vice President Biden, is we don't want our families separated, ta-da-ta, ta-da-ta. And then he goes into another soliloquy, the person asking the question. And Biden looks at him and said, well, you vote for Trump. If that's what you want, vote for Trump. A Democrat telling a Latino, go vote for Trump. A disregard to humanity. He could not instantiate that he was talking to a group of humans. To Biden, that was a group of indentured servants who should only vote Democratic. And if you don't think like him, go vote for Trump. Because do you think you're going to get any better from Trump? You remember once Trump says, what the hell do you have to lose? That is Biden's way of saying that in sort of the quasi-slant way. Let's get frank here, people. What Biden did was show an air of privilege. He showed a disregard for humanity, and he showed that he does not have the tact to talk to people's heart, to talk to them and say, I understand what you mean, ma'am. He could have gone to, if I were Biden, I would have walked over to that woman who can't speak English. I would have hugged her. I would have brought the narrator, the translator over and say with the mic there, let's talk. Ma'am, here's what I'm going to do. I will do my best not to break families up because after all, we believe in humanity. We believe in family. We believe in doing what's right. Now, I can't tell you I will not deport anybody because if there is an undocumented person or a document, first of all, if there's a person who harms you or anyone in this country, I will use the full extent of the law to make sure they pay. If they are undocumented, and I will use the full extent of the law to put them out of this country as well. Again, that woman would have looked at Biden and said, he's honest. He's telling me what he would do. He's not trying to appease me. He's just saying, he's being human. We want all good people here. If there's somebody that's going to be here harming you and me, if we have to lock them up in our jails, we will. But that criminality denies them the right to be here. And that's what, and just that affection, just showing her that you accept her humanity, that you understand what is going on, then that is what you do. Before I go to the other video, let me go ahead and look at my screen here because I don't want to just leave it hanging there. Daniel says, my good friend Daniel Ledo, I give communists no quarter. You are trying to take my liberty. Stop with the can't we all just get along BS. No, we cannot get along as long as you believe in the collective. Well, Daniel, I am so sorry you feel that way. I do believe in the collective. And I think to some extent you believe in the collective as well. You don't want to call it the collective, of course, but you do believe in the collective because all that you do isn't in the market structure, but parts of it is, in fact, in the collective. Personal time for Bruce. Bruce Pollard is now my brother Bruce Pollard. Congratulations, and please congratulate my dear, she's my daughter too, my dear daughter of yours for having that beautiful kid. Congratulations. Lee Grant said congrats to Bruce as well. And then there is Bruce again, thanks, but now my activists window just went out another 30 years. How long can we tread water? Come on, Bruce. We're going to win this stuff, and we're not only going to win this stuff, we're going to come together. Even Daniel Ledo is going to come into the fold, because Daniel Ledo is going to say, I can't take this. Why don't you guys make this compromise? And Daniel, there are just maybe some compromises we can make with you as well, Daniel Ledo. Look, brother, I love you. You don't believe it? I love you, brother. All right, Lee Grant. Why do leftists think illegal aliens have no agencies? Illegals decide to make a criminal trespass into a country that is not their own. They are responsible for their actions. The best way to avoid deportation is not to trespass. Look, Lee, my brother Grant, there's a lot to what you've said. Your terminology, however, leaves somewhat to be desired, my brother. Leftists do believe in agency. Okay, we do believe. I don't like to use that word because that is sort of a lot of people consider that word elitist, but I don't. I understand what you're saying. I don't like the word illegals. I like the words undocumented citizens. Illegals sort of make it that they're that's just a negative connotation for people who are bringing a whole lot to this country. Now, if you come to this country and you're a criminal, I have no problem deporting you, and I think that can be expressed in a manner that both the undocumented workers and undocumented people and documented people want the same thing there. So, and as far as if you don't want to be deported, don't come in the first place. I wonder if the Native Americans had said that to the Pilgrims, there would be no America, right? So let's not be too harsh or too hard on this. I try to tell people, and I like to use the line all the times. The current immigrants are coming for a job. The initial immigrants of this country came to conquer, pilfer, destroy, and take. Let's please, I think, Lee, I think that should give you some humility. I think it should give you some humility that our settlers killed a lot. I think it should give you some humility that our settlers took something that others believe should not or could not have been taken, because there are some people don't believe land ownership means much. After all, the land has always been here. How do you get land ownership? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that we need to go over. So I think a little bit of humility should be necessitated for a country who had a genesis like America did. Bruce Pollard says, agreed, give Biden a pass. He is older and should not be put into positions where fast judgment is required. Like president, he is disqualified. Bruce, you're funny. I just love your funny. Thank you so kindly for that, Bruce. Daniel S. Ha, what an ideologue fool that guy is. Okay, I don't think you're referring to me, right, Daniel? But if you're referring to me, I don't think I'm a fool, generally speaking, but hey, everybody has their ideas. But I don't think you mean me. I think you mean somebody else. And Lawrence Sims says, let's look at all of them. And let's see, Bernie Sanders and immigration is complicated. Yes, it is complicated, Lee. But Lee, when you put a link out there, kind of just give a little one-liner to tell us what it's about so that people want to click on your link. And I thank you so kindly for doing your research and giving us some additional material. I just love my peeps. I love my folks who come to the show. Every single one of you. Left, right, indifferent, or otherwise. I feel it an honor to have you come and visit with me 1 hour, 5 days a week. So thank you so kindly for being here. I do want to ask all of you to please remember to share the program. That is how we can make a difference. And you know what? Even those of you who don't agree with me should share the program, because you can also bring some other ammunition to the fold. That is how we're going to communicate. We're not going to fight fists, guns. It's going to be an intellectual argument, and we're going to talk what's best for America. What's best for America. Okay, the next video I want to show is the one that Klobuchar did with Chris Matthews. I think I played that on a show a couple days ago. But this was infuriating for me. And the reason why, it was she used all the Republican tropes. I'm going to let it fly, and then we'll discuss it on the other end. The concern in the Democratic Party is not whether it is moving too much to the left. It's not whether can we win if we're moving to the left. It is about who controls the party and what they want and who they want to protect. Amy Klobuchar joined Chris Matthews in demonizing what is fair, moral, and honest. She used GOP talking points just as did Chris Matthews. They should both be ashamed of themselves.
I noticed something tonight that is growing within each debate. It is a real San Andreas fault in the Democratic Party today. You can talk all about you all don't like Trump, you don't want to get rid of it, but Bernie won't even agree with that. His first chance tonight, and he basically said, this isn't about getting rid of Trump. This is about my big social democratic revolution I want to start. Going through the same old litany of numbers. He doesn't accept your argument. You got to get some moderate center-left Democrats, some centrists, and some Republicans. Yeah. And then you and Buttigieg and the vice president, the former vice president, all argued you have to go for a larger audience than just the hard left. And Elizabeth Warren damn well doesn't accept it either. No. That's the fight, isn't it?
I think we will be able to work this out because we did it in many past elections. What unites us, Chris, is so much stronger than what divides us. What I don't like about this is that when you look at just what happened in Kentucky, in Virginia, and they continue to make the case for free everything. And as I said today, I know these things sounds good on a bumper sticker, and maybe they want to throw in a free car, but I really don't think that is what people want.
What do you think when you hear a candidate saying, I'm going to get you preschool? We're going to pay for it all across the country. I'm going to pay for student loans. We're going to take care of all that. We're going to have health care, if not immediately, within 3 years for everybody. Everybody's going to get free health care.
So here's what I didn't get a chance to say today. When it comes to education, we should be matching our education system with the jobs in our economy. And to me, that means no, you don't just make everything free and you don't pay for free college for rich kids. Look at this. The fastest growing degrees are 1 and 2 years. We do not have a shortage of CEOs or MBAs. We have a shortage of plumbers.
The left being honest?
I think that they are being honest about what they want to do, and I have all respect for them. I like Elizabeth. I like Bernie. I have respect for them, but I simply have a different way.
I don't know if you guys see the condescension. Her comment that she talks about, we have enough CEOs, what we need are plumbers. Do you see the class arrogance there? In other words, we don't have to worry about CEOs. That's taken care of already. Those aspiring kids who want to be CEOs, let them be plumbers. They don't see it. The other thing that Chris Matthews says is, they want free healthcare and free education. Number one, no, we don't want free healthcare. We want everybody to have healthcare and that the society provides the healthcare that all of us paid for. Not free healthcare that all of us paid for. Pay off loans for education. The reason why these folks' education loans are so high is because through the Reagan Revolution and subsequently, we've continuously cut taxes that would have gone to educate the kids, and instead they had to take all these loans out, and in the process of doing that, they have enriched a few. So we had corporations paying less taxes to get an educated workforce they need to enrich a few. This is not free anything. The people that have been getting the free everything are the people Chris Matthews and Amy Klobuchar and all centrists continue to protect. Let's get this straight. Middle class America, they are not asking for free anything. Now here is the deal, however. They have given away a whole lot in the process of less pay, in the process of reduced taxes, in the process of paying for an education to enrich a few. That is what has been occurring. So it's not about free stuff. What Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are talking about is taking back what was stolen. And if instead of trying to hold back and giving a Republican narrative about free stuff, if instead we went back and told the truth, and instead of having Democrats split, they had a consistent narrative, they would not only win over Republicans, they would not only win over Democrats that believe they are centrist, they would win over the entire darn country, because what they're saying is, for once in our lifetime, let us have a real democracy where everybody has equal access to success and nobody is taking advantage of the other, as the corporatocracy right now takes advantage of us all. And that is a very important concept, folks. That's a very important concept. The idea that, first of all, there are two things that I want to hit there. One is free stuff. But before free stuff, I want to hit the morality. Chris Matthews says, wait, are they wanting us to pay for health care? Are they wanting us to pay for, oh my God, care for your kids? The question you have to ask, Chris, is, okay, if we don't have a form of paying for health care, if only those people who have certain kinds of jobs can afford health care, so what do we do? Do we let them die? Because that is what's happening right now. A lot of people say, oh, you can go to the emergency room. No. We let them die. And you know who are the people that are dying? Those people where all those rural hospitals are closing because you don't even want them to get the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. So you know what? The left, or rather the right, Republicans, conservatives, are killing their own people. You go ahead and live in Timbuktu, Nebraska. You go and live in Timbuktu, Texas. You go and live in Timbuktu, North Dakota, South Dakota, or all these other places where they have a Republican legislature who decided not to take the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. Those hospitals in the rural areas are closing. Somebody gets a heart attack in those areas. There's medical care that's 50, 60 miles away. They die. Our healthcare system kills. And when Chris Matthews, supposedly a progressive type host, says, we cannot afford that, you're saying then we are relegating our rural citizens to die. We are relegating our poor citizens to die. And if you have a job that affords you insurance you can afford, you live. But if you have Obamacare, where you have a $10,000 deductible as well, you die. So let's be clear what they're saying. Anybody who uses the free argument on Medicare for all about progressives wanting something for free, we want nothing for free. Nothing for free. We want two things: pay it forward education and social services that are paid for in the general fund by everybody. And what that means is you pay based on how much you make. Since society is very inefficient in allocating people's worth, we make sure that there is a strong social safety net to take care of that. I want to make before I move on, I want to make that's a very important concept I just said. People like to call capitalism, the people who believe in capitalism says it is the efficient allocation of resources. Yet, a stockbroker makes more money. A stockbroker makes more money than a teacher. A stockbroker makes more money than an engineer. An engineer produces things that makes life better for people. A stockbroker moves a piece of paper. Capitalism is not the best efficient allocation of resources. It is a cartel. Until we understand that pricing power is what drives capitalism and makes it a cartel, we don't understand it. But hey, I acquiesce. We are in a capitalist society. The only way for it to continue to function is then to do either a Bernie, which means a democratic socialist state, which is still a capitalist state, or as Elizabeth Warren calls it, conscious capitalism or some kind of capitalism. But what it both of them, they converge into the same place. And that same place is a robust social safety net. So that if somebody wants to be a teacher, something that is much more important than a stockbroker, they still have good health care. They should be able to have the same kind of health care as a stockbroker. The person who's taking care of my most precious resource, my kid, can't have the best health care to ensure that he or she is going to be in that classroom healthy of mind, healthy and not worried, so that they can instill the knowledge in my kid, so that they can be forceful and forthright with my kid. You see, the evil parts of our political system and our economic system refuse to want to acknowledge those truities. But that's what it is. Don't let anyone fool you, my brothers and my sisters. That is how it is. We have to have. Now, when she talks about free stuff, nothing is free. Your participation in this economy, whether at a McDonald's making a low wage so that the owner of that McDonald's can be a millionaire, or whether it is a millionaire themselves, You are functional parts of this economy, and you are providing to this economy. So nothing you get out of this economy is free. Now, if you're an able-bodied person sitting on your butt on the side of the curb, you are an inefficient human being that's not doing anything. If you have the capacity to work and you're not working, but that's the other thing. In our society, we have to restart teaching civics, teaching people what it is to be a good American, teaching people why the work ethic. But we took when we started cutting budgets, we cut civic programs, we cut all those things. When we wanted to have things like midnight basketball so that we could use all those kids on the street, bring them for midnight basketball, and also use that as a teaching tool, conservatives, they laughed at those kinds of things, right? But we understood what we were doing. We know what needed to be done. We needed to instill in folks a work ethic and a citizen ethic. Nothing is free. You're right. And liberals and progressives don't want free stuff. We want everybody within an economy to partake within that economy. So that free stuff crap coming from a purported progressive makes them a Republican unelectable in a Democratic primary. So Klobuchar, X. Biden, X. Now we go to El Señor Buttigieg.
Many progressives are going berserk because of a 2010 video that just surfaced with Buttigieg, who seems to be breaking bread with the Tea Party, breaking bread with an organization that's Tea Party related. And after listening to the tape and listening to the hoopla, I don't see anything wrong with what he did. I think, in fact, there is something there that we should probably be looking at. Take a look at this and we'll take it on the other side.
I have to admit, as a Democrat, that many of my friends and supporters looked at me as if I was absolutely nuts when I suggested that I would be coming tonight to speak with a group that's often identified as the Tea Party. There are some, especially in my party, who think that the Tea Party is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Republican Party. But there are many others who believe that the Tea Party is motivated by real concerns about the direction of our government and the responsiveness of our government to citizens, and above all, a frustration with business as usual. That is what motivated me to run. And so while we may come from often very different perspectives, I believe we might find that we have a lot in common on that front. Here we grew up in the shadow of that big Studebaker plant, right down to Kovaleski State. A facility that has stood empty for my entire life. And in many ways, to this day, South Bend has not yet recovered from the blow that we got when that company closed its doors. Somebody made a mistake and gave me a Rhodes Scholarship, and I used it to go overseas and learn economics. And I did that because I wanted to understand unemployment at the theoretical level. And then I did math for a living around economics. The economics of energy and the economics of stabilizing very tough places around the world in order to make sure there's less violence there. But I got to thinking, if I'm any good at stabilizing economies, maybe I ought to try to help stabilize the economy right here in Indiana.
The thing is, Pete Buttigieg shouldn't be made unelectable because he's trying to break bread with the Tea Party or all these other sites or whatever. As you know, a lot of what I preach is that we are programmed from the plutocracy, both on the right side and the left side. So having the belief that trying to engage the other side, there's something wrong with it, or trying to create a particular manner in which to address them, there's something wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is that Pete Buttigieg is a neoliberal. As a neoliberal, the policies that he learned in economics are all wrong for the current state of the entire economic system. That is what we should be concerned about. He should be unelectable, not because he's trying to build bridges. He should be unelectable because he has the wrong economics, the wrong economic policies, and what he supports is not in the best interest of neither the poor or the middle class.
And that is exactly right. What he supports is does not support the poor or the middle class. He comes out with something called Medicare for all who want it. Are you kidding me? Don't you understand? Once you leave that door open, it means that the plutocracy tailors health care for the ones who don't need it, and they give them great pricing and find ways to kick them off so that they are forced into the Medicare for all run by the public sector. And then when you look at the billings on the public sector versus the private sector, it somehow then looks like the public sector is more expensive than the private sector, which what it was is that the private sector took the clients that didn't need to pay out while the public sector got everybody else. So we cannot be fooled, and we cannot have this Medicare for all, for those who want it, because it's a bifurcated system that dies on its own. Now, what you can have is if you want private health care that doesn't cover the things, the darn good things covered by Medicare for all, be my guest. If you want pedals on your floors, if you want pedals as you walk into your room, and if you want to have your bed with chocolates on it when you get in there, and a decorated one of those towels that's in the form of an animal, you want all those beautiful high-tech things, you can buy insurance that will give you that kind of a quality of attendance when you get to the hospital. No, nobody's going to stop you from doing that. But what I'm trying to show here is these three centrists that we have. They are so they're flawed, but it's not the flawed that concerns me. It's the policy that concerns me, and the policy makes them unelectable because, as people say, there are those people who go out there and vote every year, and they're going to vote. And if those people that go out and vote every year, we are going to get a marginal Democratic win. We won't get an Obama Democratic win, but we will get a Clinton Democratic win with the 77,000 votes that she lost in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That is what we get with a centrist, with a status quo. So here's what I'm trying to tell you, people. The Democrats will have to try hard not to lose, or rather not to win in 2020. They have to do so many foolish things not to win in 2020 that I don't know they're capable of doing as many silly things not to win in 2020. What's at stake is what kind of win we have. What's at stake is who we're going to bring into the fold. What's at stake is whether the party will be a progressive Democratic Party or a centrist Democratic Party. That's, in my humble opinion, that's the only thing that this discussion is about right now, and these candidates are about. Are we going to have a progressive party, or are we going to have a centrist party? My contention is the centrist party belongs at the Republican side, and the progressive party belongs in the Democratic side. And that way we can give people real options. Right now, people have 1/4 option as progressives and 3/4 options as not progressives. And that is not the way it should be. And the thing about it is, most of the country, based on all the polls, and I've written the polls, I've blogged the polls for all of you to see, most Americans are in fact progressives. Even if they call themselves conservatives, the products, the policies that they want are consistently progressive. Consistently progressive. Let me go start answering the questions here. Let's go from Lee Grant. I think Lee Grant wants to come back on me. Earlier I stated that the immigrants that are coming over the border right now, all they want is a job. And I said we should have some compassion for that, and we should have a bit of humility, because the first immigrants to this country came to conquer, pilfer, kill, and take over, which they successfully did, to form America. So I think we owe the world, based on our success, because of how vicious we were, based on our success, I think we owe it to the world to be more compassionate and more tolerant. I hate the word tolerant, because I don't want somebody tolerating me. But anyhow. All right, Raynard Blake says, peace and greetings from Lansing, Michigan. Welcome aboard, my brother Lansing. And by the way, folks that are on YouTube we have the new thing called Super Chat. If you want to throw your message to the top of the stuff, you can do that by saying, hey, let me go ahead and throw some ducats to Politics Done Right, and I'll get my message highlighted out there on the YouTube page. It's called Super Chat. Those of you on there, Super Chat to show your support for Politics Done Right. Super Chat, Super something is what it's called. Lee Grant says, people have been moving about the planet for 150 years. The movement of actions of Europeans is hardly a singular evil. I agree with you, Brother Grant. You're right. You know, that doesn't make it right, or that doesn't make it that we shouldn't be better. You know, a lot of people say, I am being bad because everybody else is bad. No. You know, I gave up my capitalist being to do the right thing. Okay? So, I mean, no, you don't have to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Raynard Blake says, the issue isn't free, this or that. It's about investment in people, and corporations are not people. Love it, man. Move to amend. That is our motto. Corporations are not people. And that's true. According to America right now, they are. Okay, Dafford Taylor. I absolutely love this. And I love you too, Dafford. Thank you so kindly for being a part of our show. And please remember, all of you that are watching now, please share, please share, please share. Daniel Ledo, here is the fear-mongering. I think you're saying that I'm fear-mongering, Daniel. I don't think I am. Blake then says, Matthews and Klobuchar wants everyone to join the military. I don't think so. I hope not. All right. And then Daniel Ledo, you know, he continues his attack on me. That's okay. I can take it. Egberto is a hypocrite. He laments fear tactics, then uses it on a daily basis. I don't think I use fear tactics. I think I tell the truth. Lawrence says, corporations should train more of their workforce through apprenticeship and internships that pay livable wages. With dual credits through high school and community college, most can get a free education and be in those other programs. You know, that is sort of the thing, Lawrence, right? We pay to educate ourselves so that we can be marketable to corporations, who then get us on the cheap, pays us on the cheap, and that profit turns out to be our investment to ensure the wealthy get wealthier. That's all it is. Raynard Blake says, fear tactics are the GOP's middle name. You're correct. Fear of the other, and on and on and on. You're correct, my brother Raynard Blake. Lee Grant says, the bottom half of U.S. citizens pay virtually no income taxes. The planned largesse of Medicare for all, loan forgiveness, state-sponsored childcare, etc., will be free stuff for them. Not true, Brother Grant. Lee, let me try to put it this way. Everybody likes to just talk about income taxes. Income taxes are a progressive tax, which means if you make a little, you pay a little. If you make a lot, you pay a lot. If you make a humongous amount, you don't pay anything. All right, so it's a progressive tax that becomes a theft after you reach a certain wage. Okay, that's what our tax system looks like. But all the taxes that bottom half of the citizens pay are known as regressive taxes, meaning they pay sales tax, they pay gas tax, they pay taxes for every certificate they get. They pay, I mean, there's a lot of taxes these people pay that are not income taxes. They are a part of the economy. Now, when you talk about they don't pay income taxes, they don't pay income taxes because they make so little. If they made more, they would pay more income taxes. They make so little to ensure that most of that money go to the employer. So here's the deal. They're making so much, so little is also a giveaway to the rich plutocracy. Why? Because the rich plutocracy pays them a little bit of money, which means they don't pay into the tax. The employee doesn't pay into the coffers of the income tax state. And then, because the plutocracy paid them less, they make more profit. And since they're in such high levels, they also don't pay things like Social Security and all that other kind of stuff. So what I'm saying, paying low wages is the reason the bottom half doesn't pay income taxes, and it's also a break for corporations who, because they don't pay them a lot of taxes, a lot of money, they make more money. And then guess what the corporations do with their excess money? They loan the money to America because we didn't collect enough. I've written a blog on how the different ways the corporatocracy, the plutocracy, the wealthy make money on the tax system. It's that simple, brother. And I wish more people would understand it, and that's what we try to do at Politics Done Right. If you don't understand it, I can go in more specific on paper. Mike Cisak says, leftists will have the rich pay all those programs. Also, leftists, well, the programs are more expensive than we thought, so everyone will have to pay more taxes. No, sir. Brother CSAC, no, no, no. In fact, CSAC, under my plan, I'm running for president. I couldn't be president. I was born somewhere else. But under what I believe in, Mike, you and your farm will do much better. In fact, you as a small farmer have been screwed by this system. And my goal is whatever program we get in effect will be better for you, your family, your kids, Mr. CSAC. So we can fight about it and we can disagree. I'm going to try like hell to work with all of those to get it implemented. And over the years, eventually, I would expect your life to be better. I don't expect you to come out and tell me your life is better, Brother CSAC. But I do want your life to be better. I do want your life to have that you can work much less. I know farming is a hard job, brother. I have utmost respect for you, sir, as a farmer. I really do, and I say that from the depths of my heart. Renard Blake says, corporations not paying their fair taxes equal free stuff. They want roads for free and infrastructure. Blake, Brother Blake, you're absolutely right. Fair share of taxes, that's called creaming. Sir, you're right. Mike Cisak says, the leftists in the Democratic Party are actually a minority, but are the most vocal and inactive. No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. We are the majority. Right now, we have what's known as the fear vote. The fear vote is we got to go with a centrist. But when you do the polls, Mike, and ask people the policies that they want, as Michael Moore said on MSNBC, and he had the numbers to back it up, most people want the policies that we, the progressives in the Democratic Party, want. It's that simple. It's numbers. Daniel Ledo says Egberto is now outlining how the Democratic Party dies. Okay, maybe. We'll see. Reynard Blake says, if a centrist gets a nomination, I vote green. No, Blake. Let's talk about it, Blake. Let's talk about it. Let's not run to the hills yet. We have to remember that we do have input on no matter who wins. So what if that person wins and we kind of decide that it's an acceptable vote, we'll keep them on the fire. So let's not go there yet, brother Blake. Andra McDowell, Smokin' Joe is the only one electable. Actually, he's likely the only one that will be unelectable, but right now he's still electable. All of them. Every single one of those people on stage, I think, is electable, except for, and I don't want to call her name because I'll get into trouble, and I don't want to feel those right now. Okay, Biden is a Democratic Trump. I agree with that. Andra McDowell, vote blue no matter who, or we have Trump again. Vote for who wins the primaries. I think there's a good chance I will be doing that, Andra, and I hope you will as well, my friend. Daniel Adose, unless you actually believe that load if crap you just said about the discovery of America and the motivations for settling here is... I don't know what you're saying there, Daniel. You may want to qualify that. Bruce says, is Trump nomination a given? I think it is. I don't think look, the people are not taking on to this impeachment stuff, and I don't see the numbers moving. I just don't. So I think Trump is our candidate for the right. Andrew McDowell, moderate will win now. Moderate will win now. Leftists will win. Everybody will beat Trump right now, except that one person that I told you about. Far left later. Andrew, I can see where your heart is. Just from your list of sentences, Andrew, I kind of think you're on our side as well, but you're more on that you're being very pragmatic in based on the things that you hear. Let's get away from fear, Andrew, and let's go ahead and do what we're doing here, and that is we are going to educate the masses. That's our job. My job, your job, everybody's job. We got to go out there and talk to our relatives or families, but we have to talk to them where they are. We don't want to go beat them on the brow. We want to talk to them where they are. That's what we got to do. Daniel Adose, you all would vote for Satan if he won the Democratic primary. Wow, that's a low blow, brother Ledo. Yup. Then he ends. Andrew McDowell says, one step at a time, please. Andrew McDowell says, can't have all at once or we will lose. Vote blue no matter who. I like the way you put that out there, Andrew. That is so cool, the way you're using your hieroglyphics. And Andrew McDowell says, one issue voter, Trump out of White House. You true. I agree with you there, but I'm not a one issue voter. I also want what's good for you in every aspect of your life. Lee Grant says yes, as as is his reelection. Lee Grant, brother, you're a very smart person, and I still can't believe that you would actually go out there and vote for Trump again. But hey, what can I say? I have relatives that vote for him and likely will vote for him again as well, and I love him. Our Thanksgiving wouldn't be difficult at all because I think my stance is always not to just go political, but go to the heart, go to where people are, make sure we talk to people. And I just feel sometimes some of those folks, when they go in the booth, something that I've said sometime is going to click in the head and say, you know what? Just maybe that bald head, black, Latino, Caribbean dude was right. Just maybe. Just maybe. Daniel Lado says, you are either ignorant, disingenuous, or lying about the motivations for settling America. Brother, you know what is the difference between Americans born here, who went to school here and did everything here, compared to a foreigner who naturalized but came from a very good school that taught world history? The one thing we did is we got good balance. We understood the bad, the good, the ugly of different countries, and it's there for every country, right? And we also, this stuff about being, what's the word that America likes to use? Being not existential, being exceptional. None of us believe any country is exceptional. I mean, it's nice to try to pat yourself on the back. Whenever you sit down and think you're exceptional, you start to lose because you think that you are so good that you can learn from nobody else. So I never sat and believed America was exceptional, Panama was exceptional, or any other country was exceptional. I do think all these countries have exceptional people in them. I do think a lot of people in these countries that work their butts off. And I'm not only talking about the people that get airtime. I'm talking about just regular people that I meet every single day that just go out there and do something. Just do something. And just help that one person. I'm talking about having to help 1,000. Somebody was in pain. My daughter is in med school right now, and she put up a little video on her Instagram, and I could see she felt so accomplished in her face because she helped somebody. She helped somebody, had no money, no nothing, but she helped somebody. You know? So, I mean, that is very interesting. Daniel, you can come back and say what you have. I've spoken to you several times before, sir. We don't get a rounded education in America until you go to a school out of this country where we had to learn not only the history of our country, but the history around the world and detailed history of the United States. Please, most of the people couldn't pass the test. Most of the people who couldn't pass the test, we had to pass to become U.S. citizens. So please, my dear brother Daniel Lado, spare me. Our education was much more balanced than the education that's received here in the United States in high school. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And that's not a hit, that's just how it is. When you live in a country that think it is exceptional, there are a lot of things that it doesn't do because it believes it's exceptional. And that is something we need to run from. And that is why we have so many people in this country that know so little about the rest of the world. And because we know so little about the rest of the world, these plutocrats run rings around us, take advantage of us, put the fear into us. Because if we had just known about how the rest of the world work, we would be so much better as a country. We are coming up to the end of the time, folks. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. I respect you all. Please remember to go to politicsdoneright.com. I'm going to put that on the screen. Go to politicsdoneright.com. Show your support for the show. If you want to be on the show, sometimes we do remote videos and stuff. If you have some interesting story you want to take, maybe I'll do some pre-record. Maybe I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to probably start having some 5-minute, I haven't designed it yet, 5-minute stuff for listeners. You want to come on screen for 5 minutes and say something, we do a pre-record and it's your 5 minutes or something. I haven't worked that out yet. I've been trying to think about different ways to interact with the audience and to give everybody, I'm going to use that word, agency. So I want to go ahead and do that sometime soon. So folks, please go ahead and support the show. If you're on YouTube, you can also support us by giving us a super chat. If you are on any other channel, including YouTube, you can just go to us here at politicsdoneright.com and go to politicsdoneright.com and give us, support the show. Let's see, I can do that. And or go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright and become a bona fide member of our show. And let's see, it looks like I have one more message from Daniel Ledo. Daniel Ledo, just remember, the truth shall set you free, but Egberto has the truth blocked. I must be powerful if I can block the truth. How did I accomplish that task? Anyhow, my name is Egberto Willies. Please go to politicsdoneright.com, support the show. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And guess how I end this baby like I do every time? I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.